السلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وحبيبنا وإمامنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. جزاكم الله خير all for attending, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the barakah in this, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the best of how we can follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I would like to divide this into two modules. One is the visit to Medina, and the second one is the Umrah itself, and the visit to Mecca al-Mukarramah. I would like to start with Medina because that's where our visit, inshallah, will start with Medina first, and then we will go to Mecca. So I'll start with the visit of Medina, and then we'll do the Umrah part, inshallah, after that. So my plan is to finish in an hour and a half, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us life and enable us, and then leave half an hour for questions and answers. However, I don't mind at all if you want to interrupt me and ask me to clarify something that I have just said. If you have some side question that is not related to what I'm explaining, we can leave that towards the end. But if there's a part that I'm explaining and it's not clear, or it can bring some ambiguity to you, then please go ahead and interrupt me, and I would love to hear your question and answer it on time, inshallah. Fair enough? Agree on the plan? Okay, so maybe by the raise of hand, inshallah, who am I going to get the pleasure to travel with to Mecca and Medina, inshallah, next week? Can you raise your hand if you are going? Okay, so we have, and how many? Okay. طيب, alhamdulillah. Okay, great. So I would assume that there are people who are traveling with us and are not yet here. So I'm glad that we are recording this, so inshallah they will also benefit from that. So let's start with our visit, and I think before we talk about anything, inshallah, the most important thing is that we clarify and purify our intention. There's nothing more important before you do any righteous good deed than that act, which is purifying your intention. That this is going to be fi sabilillah. We're doing it only to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In no way we are doing this to create some profile and pictures that we would just want to share with people. We're not going there to just make a pleasure or a journey to enjoy. It is really for fi sabilillah. And once you clarify and once you purify your intention, you would find a very different taste, wallahi, for the entire journey. If you go there in your plan, and maybe you have a mixed feeling, and I believe many of us may have that, a mixed feeling. So you want to please Allah, this is something that you want to do for sure, but at the same time, you want to impress your beloved ones with some photos, and perhaps you would even go further because you have some followers on your social media, so you just want to pick pictures and send them every time. I want all of us to just take a step back and rethink about how much of effort and time that we will be spending, and maybe some of that may, la samhallah, go to waste if we do not purify our intention. I'm not saying it is not permissible to take photos. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that don't let that be a driver of your intention. Don't make that part of the reason you're doing this Umrah, inshallah. All the time think about how could this Umrah change your life, and how this Umrah could be a reason for you to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that is the main intention, we should be fine. It is totally fine to take photos, share it with some beloved family members or beloved friends, inshallah, but not for the sake of showing it. For the sake of just sharing some emotion, sharing some thoughts, that's fine, inshallah. But please be very careful not to have any intention of just showing off, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. So with that said, we plan, inshallah, to do a visit of Medina first and then visit of Mecca. As you probably may know, we have about 4 nights in Medina and 3 nights in Mecca. The reason that we are doing more in Medina than Mecca is just because it's easier and simpler, and we get more chance to do some tarbiyah programs in Medina than in Mecca. Mecca is a very, very active and busy city, and I mean, every time you want to go from the hotel to anywhere else, it takes you a long time. So that's why we are getting more time in Medina than Mecca. We know for sure that the reward of praying in the Haram of Mecca is more. So Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam talked about, anyone remembers how many times you get your reward amplified in Mecca? 100,000. If you pray one prayer in Mecca, in the Haram of Mecca, with the Imam, then you get the reward of doing 100,000 similar prayer at somewhere else. 100,000. So that's a significant thing. We will not waste, inshallah, a single prayer in those masajid. We will try our best to do all of them there, inshallah, while we are there. In Medina, it is 1,000. So a prayer in the Haram of Mecca with the Imam is 100 times more rewarding than a similar prayer in the Masjid of Medina. So that's where we probably may lose that opportunity, but at the same time, this is more of an integrated journey, inshallah, for all of us, and we want to benefit from everything that we see. The chance for us in Medina to go and visit certain other places like the Masjid of Quba, or perhaps, inshallah, some other things that we will be able to do is much higher than in Mecca. In Mecca, we probably can do much less if we get the opportunity to go and see Ghar Hira, or where Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before he became a messenger. Inshallah we can, but we will, but it is very, very difficult to do it in Mecca than to do anything in Medina other than visiting the masjid. Okay, with that said, let me start, inshallah, by talking about Medina and what is the sunnah when we go there, inshallah. By the way, I did prepare some document that I will be sharing with everyone. So those who are not in the group, I can share it with everyone, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, but I need your contact. Or maybe you can ask me later, inshallah, and I can send it to you, because my plan is to send that document to the group of the Umrah. But anyone is more than welcome to, inshallah, have it as well. Okay, so we start by saying the sunnah of visiting the city of Medina is to immediately start with visiting the masjid of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You probably may have some time between arrival to Medina through airplane and then taking the shuttle or maybe a taxi, whatever it is, to go to the hotel, and then do some preparation, then go to the masjid. Make your effort to go to the masjid as the most urgent thing, because that is the sunnah, and go ahead and don't wait until the next prayer time. You can go there and just do 2 rak'ah of tahiyyat al-masjid, of greeting the masjid, as soon as you arrive. That's the sunnah, inshallah. While you are in the masjid, if there's a prayer, of course you are engaged in that prayer, but if not, then be sure that your time there is extremely utilized in reciting Quran, in doing adhkar, in making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also in contemplating on anything that, inshallah, draw you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Visiting the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is an important one. I know that these days they require some what is the app? Nusuk? Yeah, there's a Nusuk application that you should apply for a permit there. Appointment, yeah. And I know they are very strict about it. If you show up there and you don't have your app and you cannot show it to them, they won't let you there. So please plan from now to make your appointment there. I think one of the things that repeatedly get asked is visiting Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and allowed for men and women or just for men? And the reason people ask this question is because we know in Sharia there is the difference of opinion between scholars about the visit of women to the graveyard, whether it is permissible or not. There is a good group of ulama from different madhahib, by the way, who says it is not permissible for women to visit the graveyard. And there are others who says it is permissible, but it is not recommended. And there are others who say it is permissible, period. And those who say it is not permissible or it is permissible but not recommended, the vast majority of them make a distinction between any grave and the grave of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So for example, in the Shafi'i and Hanbali madhab, they say it is makruh. It is not recommended for the woman to go and visit any graveyard. And that's why we always tell the sisters, if we have a janazah here in Maryland, you can pray Salat al-Janazah, you can follow the janazah if you like, but you should stop right at the cemetery. You cannot just get inside. That's how it is, a big portion of ulama say, especially in the Hanbali and the Shafi'i school of thought, and even in the part of the Hanafi as well. However, the vast majority of those scholars say that visiting Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is an exclusion, is an exception. So visiting the Rasulullah ﷺ is fine according to the vast majority of our scholars. There are still some ulama who say they should not do it, including some of the ulama in Saudi Arabia, and I can mention that Sheikh Ibn Baz rahmatullah alayhi used to say that. However, the ulama in Saudi Arabia, they said in the current shape of the grave of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it is still fine, permissible to visit. You know why? Because what you see is not his grave. What you see is his house, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you are visiting, it is as if you are going to a cemetery from the outside and you're saying, Assalamu alaikum, أهل الديار من المؤمنين أنتم سابقون وإنا إن شاء الله بكم لاحقون نسأل الله لنا ولكم العافية. This is permissible for men and women. If you pass by a cemetery from some distance and you say Assalamu alaikum, this is permissible for all men and women by all ulama, by all scholars. So they said that in the current case in Medina, the grave of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is not what you see. What you see is actually is the borderline of his house. And there are multiple walls actually before you reach to the grave, which you cannot see because it's there's this green thing. So Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala made it clear that even if women go and say salam, they are not really doing what we call it ziyaratul qubur, which has the issue between scholars. So inshallah it should be fine. In fact, many of the scholars, or the vast majority of scholars, they do encourage women to do that. But at the same time, to do the sunnah as how to visit the grave of Rasulullah ﷺ, or visit Rasulullah ﷺ, to be more precise. Now, the way that the sunnah of visiting any grave is to say the wording, the dua I just mentioned. And let me read it from, for you, inshallah. Okay, so you can say Assalamu alaikum ahla diyar. You can always say that, but for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and you can add sallallahu wa sallam alayk wa ala alika wa ashabik wa jazakallahu an ummatika khayra. Allahumma innahu al-wasila wal-fadila ati al-wasila wal-fadila wa ba'athu al-maqam al-mahmud alladhi wa'adta. Those kind of dua are inshallah expected from anyone who would pass by the place of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether it is man or a woman. However, when you say salam, there's no harm of you facing the grave, but if you want to make dua, then you should face the qibla, right? By the way, when you go, so let's say, I don't know if this will be visible to everyone, but let's say this is the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Usually, and this is the qibla. This direction is the qibla. So usually you go this way, right? So you enter this way, and in order for you to face the grave, you will be backing the qibla, right? So you want to be careful. If you want to say, at the time when you say Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah or Assalamu alaikum ya Abu Bakr ya Umar, it's fine to face the grave, but if you want to make dua, try to face the qibla, inshallah, because that's the sunnah. The sunnah is when you make dua, you face the qibla and not anything else. And you want to make sure that you're not adding anything that may, la samahallah, become haram. So for example, some people say, Ya Rasulullah, could you help us? Ya Rasulullah, could you do this for us? Anything that should go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot go to anyone, including Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So for us, when we visit him, we are to pray to Allah for him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not that we pray to Prophet Muhammad. We pray to Allah for Prophet Muhammad as opposed to praying to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Is that clear? So many people get very emotional at the time when they visit. It's fine if you are not able to control yourself. No harm, inshallah. The problem is when some people exaggerate. Like for example, you may see, inshallah, there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us. That some people will start beating themselves, or some people start to cut their clothes or hit their face. That's all haram. We cannot do that. Weeping, having some tears in our eyes, being very emotional, that's all expected, especially for those who may go there for the first time. But that you should not add anything extra or exaggerate in any of that, inshallah. So for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the way, everything I'm saying, you will get it, inshallah. You will get it in writing in both Arabic and English. So you don't need to worry about typing that, inshallah. So Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. صلى الله وسلم عليك وعلى آلك وأصحابك وجزاك الله عن أمتك خيرا اللهم آته الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه المقام المحمود الذي وعدته. And just for the sake of being clear, most of what I'm giving you here is coming from what we have learned from Sheikh Abdulaziz ibn Baz rahmatullah alayh. So I want you to be aware. Yes, there are things that we may be taking from elsewhere. Sheikh ibn Baz rahmatullah alayhi has some fatwas that very few fatwas that we probably are not following that, but we're not. The reason we're not following that is because there are vast majority of scholars who said otherwise, and we just don't want this to be, la samahallah, very strict on people, or la samahallah, to cause them discomfort, especially for those who probably even didn't hear about the Sheikh himself, rahimahullah. Sheikh Ibn Baz, for your information, was originally Hanbali. He followed the Hanbali madhab, but he was, mashallah, a great scholar. He was in a level of ijtihad, so he sometimes go outside of the Hanbali madhab, and because of his, mashallah, a great knowledge on the other madhahib. So what we are trying to do here is, inshallah, to go with the vast majority of our scholars in all the four schools of thoughts: the Hanafi, the Maliki, the Shafi'i, and the Hanbali. And in areas where there's difference of opinion, I will be very explicit to you so that you know that there is a difference, and I will not impose any opinion that I follow on any one of you. So you have the choice, inshallah, but at the same time, I want to make you aware of what is there, inshallah. Is that okay so far? Yes, sister, go ahead. Yeah, a great question. So the sister is asking, what if people are saying, please send my salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said in the authentic hadith, صلوا علي حيثما صلوا علي فإن صلاتكم تبلغني حيثما كنتم. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, send your salutation to me, and be aware that it will reach me from wherever you are. So that thing about please convey my salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this doesn't work. This is not from the Sharia. No. In fact, every one of us now, when we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, it reaches him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So just tell them, I wish we can go together, inshallah, if you want to be just respectful, but you cannot promise on doing this because it's actually against the Sunnah. There's nothing like send my greeting to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every one of us can send it now from the place where they are at. Answer your question? Okay, Allah yazakil khair. Like, anything else? Okay, great. Now, so you're done with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you can go further and say similar salam to Abu Bakr and Umar. So in the grave, or so let's say this is the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is the Qibla here, and then you pass this way. So the first one that you would encounter is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, followed by Abu Bakr, followed by Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. So when you pass by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the distance is like a meter or 2 meters, it's nothing. So when you pass by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, you say similarly, you say, Assalamu alayka ya Abu Bakr wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, radiyallahu anka wa jazaka an ummati Muhammadin khayra. And then you go to the Umar radiallahu anhu place, you say similar thing, like Assalamu alayka Assalamu alayka ya Umar radiyallahu anka wa jazaka an ummati Muhammadin khayra, and so on. If you want to, I mean, by the way, all these were suggested dua that Shaykh Ibn Baz rahmatullah alayhi was suggesting based on many of our pious predecessors and how they were doing the dua. Is there any sunnah for an authentic hadith to say that this is the exact word? No, there isn't. Because he sallallahu when after he passed away, he couldn't visit himself or teach people what to say about him, right? So, but this was a common statement, a common dua that our pious predecessors used to say when they visit Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Yes. No. No. Prophet is not in the middle. No. Prophet Muhammad first, Abu Bakr the second, and then Umar radiallahu anhu. Yeah. Okay. So far so good. They will not allow you to stay long. They will allow you, they will give you enough time to say things like this, and then they will push you so hard. Don't argue with them. Don't argue with them, because if you do, you will not. It will not be a pleasant stay. So, and the purpose here is just to say the salam, make a dua to Allah for them, and just leave. This is the sunnah. There's nothing really special that you need to do other than that. However, while you are visiting, okay, do they have different path for visiting the Prophet and for going to a Rawda, or is it the same? Nadim? Is it the same? You get one permit for both of them. Okay. And that will not entitle them to visit the Prophet Muhammad? It is the one. So visiting the Rawda and visiting Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr and Umar are the same.
The Rawda is especially the Riyadul Jannah. That's an appointment for that. But while passing through after every salah, then they go just from the...
What I'm asking is, are there different permits within the app for the Rawda versus passing by the Prophet? There's only one for Rawda. So if someone wants to visit the Prophet, they don't need to go through the app? Yes or no? Nadim, yes or no? I want only now to visit Prophet Muhammad. Do I need to get appointment? No, Habibi. I'm outside the masjid now. I want to go only to visit Prophet Muhammad. I will not go to the Rawda. Do I need to get an app appointment? Okay, khalas, that's it. Alhamdulillah. So let me just correct myself. The appointment you need to make is not for that. Although there are people, by the way, when I go there, someone else do it for me, so I don't know what happens. So that's why I always get help with the application. I really didn't have to do it myself at all in the past. So that's why I wasn't aware whether visiting Prophet Muhammad ﷺ requires its own permission or not. But anyway, the sisters have their own times. Huh? They have their own time. So there are times for the men and times for the women. Yeah. So anyways, I'll let the logistic things to be handled at a later time. Now visiting the Rawda. Rawda is, okay, so this is the house of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the Qibla. And people will pass this way to say salam, and the Qibla is this direction. Now the member of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, member is where he sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to lead the prayer, is located here, somewhere here. So this is his house, this is his member. And inshallah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us this chance, when we go there, I can show you how to know exactly the boundaries of the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because that is actually very small compared to what we have right now. In fact, you can tell through the pillars. You know those pillars in the masjid? The shape of the pillar can tell you whether this was the one at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the one that was at the time of the Ottoman Empire, or the one that came in the extensions, the recent extensions that we have now. So inshallah, we'll show you that. Maybe I can also send some pictures so that you can recognize them. So the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was this place. So let's assume this is the house. This is his masjid, and I don't have a third hand to. Okay, I don't know how to do it. And this someone Huh? Flower? Okay. Well, let me just put it this way. Okay, this one works. Now I'm being creative, alhamdulillah. So this is the house of Him sallallahu. This is where the masjid is. The minbar is here, right? And the qibla is here, this way. So Rasul sallallahu said, between my masjid, between my minbar and my house is Rawda, the name of the place. And that Rawda, he sallallahu said, it's part of Jannah. Now, is that part of physical Jannah, or is that part of Jannah in the virtue and in the blessings that is there? Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa alam. Every scholar has said that it is part of Jannah based on the virtue and the blessings there. But some ulama said that it could be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it as part of Jannah. So when you are there, just really imagine yourself, you are in Jannah, inshallah. So that part, which is between the minbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the boundary of his house, is called Rawda, and that is the most congested place in the masjid. And for you to go there, there need to be that appointment that you make in the application. Right, Nadeem? Okay. Okay. Barakallah fikum. So when you are in the Rawda, what the sunnah is really to go there and do every righteous good deed possible that you can. I heard and I saw some incidents where people, subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose to take their souls while they are there. In multiple times actually, some people actually, while they pray, while they are in the state of sujood, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes their souls. There's nothing really that we should aim for. We always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in our life so that we can do more righteous good deeds. That's the sunnah. And we always say, oh Allah, when you take our souls, take it while we are doing obedience to you. Now, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses us in Medina or chooses us in somewhere else, as long as we are physically and mentally are working to serve the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you shouldn't be at all concerned. Even if that happened in Las Vegas, don't worry about it. When I say this, if you are in Las Vegas doing da'wah and you're doing it fi sabilillah and Allah takes your soul there, the fact that it happened there doesn't hurt you in any way. It's really about what you were doing at the time of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking your soul. There's hadith, authentic hadith, in which Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إذا أحب الله عبدا استعمله في عمل صالح ثم أماته عليه. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves a person, Allah will enable that person to do a righteous good deed, and then Allah will take his soul while he is doing it. That's what we should always think about, as opposed to, is it going to be in Rawda or is it going to be somewhere else? It's really what you are doing, and that subhanAllah, whoever passes away on a state, Allah will resurrect them on the same state. So be careful. We're taking tangent here, but many of us may say, I want to get this short time to do a wedding party, and that wedding party they do all type of issues, whether it is dancing with music, or whether it is mixing between opposite gender, or exposing some of the awra, and they say it's once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime, I'm not going to do this anymore. But you never know. It could be that time when Allah takes your soul. And we have seen this. We have seen this a lot. Okay, this is not the time to talk about that. Jazakallah khair. Okay. But here is the thing. When you are staying in the Rawda, I think nowadays they only allow you a short period of time. And subhanAllah, for you, take a listen, which is, if I manage to go to Rawda, how many good deeds can I do? for example, you will be doing the prayer. You can do whatever nawafil you can. You can also do istighfar, meaning seeking repentance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can always do dhikr, remembrance of Allah. Do your dua. You can do your dua while in the state of sujood, or throughout your prayer, or even when you are after the prayer. And you can do Quran recitation. If there's any way that you can help someone, do it. Now, the lesson that you take there is really about how many great things you can do in a short period of time, and that you should take that and apply it in your entire life. You know, so one of the things that we used to hear about our pious predecessors is that if someone tells them that tomorrow is your day, tomorrow Allah will take your soul, they will not be able to find any extra time to do more righteous good deeds than what they are already doing. Meaning that every single day in their life is a preparation for death. Every single minute of their time, they are utilizing it in what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can we imagine that in our life these days? I mean, how many of us do relax and take their time to do other things? Let's not talk about doing haram. Let's just talk about some halal way. I mean, many people nowadays say, in the recent research, they say it is more healthy to sleep 8 to 9 hours a day. And you know that our pious predecessors used to sleep maximum 5 hours. Many of them used to sleep even 4 or 3 hours. I'm not saying that everyone should do that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that if you are able to stay healthy and sleep less and use that time to worship your Lord more and do something righteous more, then we should definitely do it. Although we know that sleeping is halal, it's fine. In fact, you may be rewarded for it if you have the right intention. Similarly, I mean, how many times we spend to wait in front of the restaurant. There is a habit for people nowadays. If the time they go to Medina and Mecca, they go to a restaurant called Al-Baik. Anyone knows Al-Baik? You know Al-Baik? You like it? You don't like it? MashaAllah, you're my friend today. But Al-Baik is a fast food. It's like KFC, exactly. But it's much tastier. And it has blessing to it. The owner of Al-Baik, to the best of my understanding, mashallah, is a pious person, and he devote 10% of their profit for fi sabilillah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in everything he does. Unfortunately, people thought that this is part of the rituals they need to do in order for their umrah to be accepted. So they think that you need to do tawaf, and then you need to do sa'i, and then you go to Al-Baik, or otherwise your umrah is not complete. Similarly, they do that in Medina. So anyways, if you go to Al-Baik, you will find yourself in a very long line, waiting and waiting and waiting. The same time, others are using it to stay in the Rawda or in the masjid, remembering Allah, or maybe visiting the grave of al-Shuhada, or going to visit the al-Baqi', or teach Quran, or learn Quran, or learn from the imams in the masajid. So that's what I'm trying to say, that when you are in the Rawda, just take it as a lesson how many great deeds that you can do in that very short period of time. Can you put that at a higher scale in your whole entire life, inshallah? Okay, so nothing really specific about what you should do you should say in the Rawda, but really making all these things: dua, istighfar, remembrance of Allah, recitation of Quran, making salat, inshallah, to the best of your ability. Okay. Okay, anything else before we conclude on the Medina thing? Yes.
I remember once I went there, so it was two windows. One is the longer one to go down and then see on the left side. And I think that other entrance is very close to.
I have no clue about this. Brother Nadeem might be the best person to answer it, inshallah. Okay, because I think they change the logistics like frequently. Okay. طيب, let's move inshallah to the next point. Any question from you sisters on that, on the entire visit of Medina? Time to ask questions, inshallah. One thing that I should add also, inshallah, while we are in Medina, we plan to go and visit Quba. Quba is the first masjid that was established by Prophet Muhammad when he first arrived to Medina. And Rasul told us that whoever makes wudu at his home and then goes to, which is our hotel in this case, and then goes to the Masjid of Quba and pay 2 rak'ah, they will get the reward of Umrah, exactly. So we will be doing that, inshallah. So your plan to go to Medina will also include, hopefully, inshallah, if Allah accepts it, that a reward of Umrah. So you will do an actual Umrah in Mecca, but inshallah, we will be also rewarded for an entire Umrah while we are still in Medina by making that plan of visiting the Masjid of Quba, inshallah. Yes. What is the time? I think it's 10 minutes. 5 minutes? 5 minutes. When I was a child, I used to stay there for hours and no one would tell me nothing. But now, subhanAllah, we have so many people there, and I think they really need to send them or allow them to go there in batches, and they give each batch about 5 minutes. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, Allah is khair. Sister Muftiyat is telling us about her experience that at the time when you are waiting to be allowed to go through the path to go to the Rawda, once they let people go, mashallah, they will race, they will race to it and Takbir, Allahu Akbar. It's as if, subhanAllah, they are running for jihad. And I saw it with the men. I never saw it with the women. But I didn't think that women would do the same. but men really take it very seriously. And I think the reason they do this is to get as close as possible to the house of Rasulullah ﷺ. And they want to go also in the front rows. That's what makes them do this. But we have to know that by us doing anything that hurt or harm people, this is a major sin. And you better not visit the Rawda in the first place than to go there and commit a major sin in that Jannah. You see the point? I mean, would anyone be willing to commit a sin in that place? In that very blessed place? I don't think anyone would do. But unfortunately, many people don't realize that by annoying people, they are doing that. So my recommendation is that don't race. Just take your time, walk. You don't. You will have to walk with the flow, but don't be among those who race. That's one. The second one, if anyone annoys you, don't respond. Don't respond. This is not the time that you can give lecturing or advice or any of those things. No one would listen to you. and you mean nothing to them. So just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you and forgive them, and ask Allah for hidayah, and just take it and absorb it, and don't worry about it. Just show patience, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. In the past, I still remember one day, I went to Medina. I was still about 15 years old, and at the time of Iqamah, there are people who are still walking. So when the Iqamah happens, there's no way that they can leave the place and go to an empty spot. So what they do is that between the two lines, they will form a third line. You see the point? So in other words, just imagine between those two lines, some people come and stand in front of you. You can't just pray. Actually, if you go to ruku', you will hit them. So at the time when I went there, when I was there, while I was 15 years old, I asked the brother, I said, please don't do it in front of me. And he actually moved away from me, and he did it in front of the one next to me. By the time the prayer was over, this uncle, the one who was next to me, Jazallah khair, he taught me a sunnah. He said, in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a time when they were praying and it was very congested. So people could not find a place even to do sujood. So what they used to do, they used to make sujood and make the sajda on the back of the person ahead of them. You see the point? And that's the sunnah. We probably didn't learn the sunnah or hear about it before because we didn't have to. But be patient. Show your most extreme level of patience there, because that's what you need, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for that, inshallah. Okay? Good enough? Go to Mecca now? Do you need a break for 5 minutes, or should we just continue? A break? Continue? Continue? Okay, great. So we're done with that. So let's go now for Mecca. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Okay, so as we are in Medina and now we plan to take the bus and go to Mecca, of course the sunnah is to make ghusl, to shower yourself, clean yourself, even for the men, not for the women. You can apply some perfume if you like. For the women, they should not be applying perfume in front of men, neither there nor here. It is not permissible for a woman to apply perfume in front of foreign men. It is not permissible. It's actually, there's a hadith that says the malaika will curse the woman if she does so. I mean, she can always be clean, she can always have something that she likes, but not to the extent that her perfume will be so strong that foreign men who are away from her can smell, because that is a reason of a fitna. So in the same thing applies to Umrah. So the sunnah is really to make that cleaning and for both men and women. As we go in with our buses from Medina to Mecca, there's a place called Miqat. Miqat is where we start doing the Umrah, the rituals of Umrah. And the Miqat that we will most likely be passing through is called Al-Juhfa or Abiyar Ali. This is the Miqat that the Rasul ﷺ has planned for the people of Medina. The reason we are doing that and not anyone else is because at the time when we intended to start our Umrah was while we were in Medina, right? So we don't take the miqat of people who come from the west of Mecca, or north, or we're taking, I'm sorry, we're taking it from the north because we are in Medina, but not anywhere else. So Abyar Ali is what it is well known for. It's a place where they have a masjid, they have showers and whatnot. But the way that we want to do it is that we take our shower and be ready before we arrive to the miqat, which is the place where we will start everything there, inshallah. Now, I know that for women, they just cannot control, for example, the times when they can pray versus the time when they cannot pray, when the period comes. So the Umrah, especially going through the Tawaf, requires Tahara, which means that the woman can still start the intention and go through the miqat and start the niyyah, but if she is on her period, she cannot do the Umrah. She has to wait. And I want to take a tangent here. Some people ask, is it permissible to take a pill to adjust that, when to start and whatnot? Yes, it is permissible. As long as it is not harmful, it is permissible, inshallah. But otherwise, even if la samahallah, she just started the period there and in Medina, and she cannot do it within the time limit that we have, no harm. I mean, she just does not need to do the Umrah. She can go to Mecca, she can go to the place. There are places in the masjid that she can go to, which is the place of Sa'i. I will explain it, inshallah. And she can do everything else other than the Umrah itself. So I'm just saying this as a side note, and inshallah we can deal with things as they arise for us. But now we reached to this place called Abyar Ali. We already, alhamdulillah, have taken all the cleaning and showering that we need. And now all what we need to do is to take off, I mean, we can also dress this, by the way, before we reach there. All what we need is to just say make the intention and say labbaik Allahumma umrah, labbaik Allahumma umrah. Now let me just show you how we dress this so that we are now ready to say labbaik Allahumma umrah. For women, they don't need to worry about that because they will be doing their umrah with their own clothes. They don't have to wear anything special. It's only for men. Do we have a belt? Anyone has a belt? Okay. Is Gibran here? No. Okay, no problem. You got no? No. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm much fat. He wants to give me his own belt, but you are skinny, akhi. It will not fit me here. So don't worry. Jazakallah khair. So there are two pieces, right? So one of them goes on the upper half and the second on the lower half. The one that goes on the upper half is called rida. Like here, it's called rida. The one that goes on the lower half is called izar. In the case of Umrah or Hajj, they are identical. There's no difference between them, right? Same size, same fabric, everything is the same. Now, the required cloth for Umrah is to have two pieces. It is sunnah to have it white, but if it happens to be not white, kufiya as a belt, is that true? Okay, I can use that. But by the way, don't bring that to your Umrah. I heard people get caught by the police because of this. Yeah, because they think that this is going to be a political thing. So anyways, that's something on the side. So the sunnah is to have it in white, but the mandatory requirement is that they do not have the shape of your body. We call that in Arabic makhit. Makhit means that it takes the shape of your body. So for example, this is my thawb. Is this makhit or not? It is makhit because it has those sleeves. Okay, so that's makhit. When you have when you have this is called makhit because it actually goes around your leg, right? So when you wear your shoe, not the slippers, but the shoe itself, that's called makhit because it actually takes the shape of your foot. Okay. So it is important that what we wear during the Umrah will not take the shape of our body. So the way we dress this is actually like this. So let me do the lower half first. Okay. Bismillah. So it's wide enough that you can have multiple rounds on you. So the sunnah is to just have like this, right? This is what izar. But just so that I give you a trick, you know, if you do it this way, when you walk, it actually limits your walk. So what people usually do is that they fold it like this, and then they go like this. So I made some fold, and then they do the same here, and that's it. And they add some clips, yeah, so that these two will not open, right? So they add some clips like this, and it becomes white. You see the point? Otherwise, if you don't do this, and if you just go like this, and you add the clips here, then you have a limit. You see the point? So is it permissible to have a belt? Yes, it is, because the belt is not really is not shaping on the parts of your body. So there are some belts that have some pocket where you can add your ID or money and whatnot, and then you can just cover it up like this, and you're ready to go. So that's the lower half. Now the upper half is easy, and the way to wear it is actually in two ways. One is when you do your tawaf, and the other one is when you do anything else. So if you're not in tawaf, if you just came to the miqat and now you want to do your niyyah and start doing the talbiyah, you just do it like this. So, and it's in the middle of it, that's where it touches, it hits, or it is at your neck, and then the other two sides are on your two hands, and that's it. So it covers you up. It look nice, right? Adding a clip so that it doesn't expose your aura is fine, but not a clip to make it feel like a pant or to shape on your body or on your parts. Yeah. So adding a clip, for example, if I am here and add a clip here, that's fine. That should be fine. Okay. Now, you do that all the time when you do your prayer, when you are on your way to Mecca, after doing the tawaf, that's how you dress it. But when you are in tawaf, that's where you do something called ittiba', and the way you do it is that the two sides will go on your left shoulder, and the middle of it goes under your right shoulder. Anyone knows what we call this shape? Huh? Ittiba'. Yes, exactly. Ittiba'. Okay, excellent. Okay, so at the time when we are at the miqat of Abiyar Ali, you need to do it this way. and that's good enough, inshallah. So I came to Abiyar Ali, to the miqat, which is between Mecca and Medina. I did my cleaning, alhamdulillah. I am now, let me just push this back. Okay, I'm now ready to do the niyyah, the intention. So while I'm there in the miqat, in the place, and ready to start, the sunnah is that you do some ulama say it is sunnah and some ulama say not, that you do 2 rak'ah in the masjid. But regardless, when you get into a masjid, you need to do 2 rak'ah regardless, right? So those 2 rak'ah are for the masjid, So you do those 2 rak'ah, you're ready. Before we go to the bus is when you start your intention, inshallah. And your intention is still in your heart. But there's a sunnah to say, to utter with your lips and tongue the word labbaika Allahumma Umrah. Okay? Or something similar. But that statement that you say is in addition to your niyyah, which is in your heart. Once you do this, once you make that intention, then now you start your Umrah. And when you start your Umrah, there are things that you no more can do. Like, for example, what? Applying perfume or using, those, sometimes some of us bring those, like the sanitizer. Some of the sanitizers have a beautiful smell. You cannot use them, neither women nor men. So from now, bring a sanitizer that does not have a fragrance in it, okay? Make sure that, because if you use fragrance while you already started your intention, then that is a violation, and it would require you to slaughter a sheep. Are you ready for it? Okay, if you're not, then be careful, inshallah. Even if you are, we should follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so now you no more can use fragrance, you no more can have any interaction, any sexual interaction with your spouse, and at the same time you cannot clip your finger or cut your nail or cut your hair. You cannot. Throughout this time until you finish your Umrah. How long is that? A couple of hours. So a person should be very careful that before you start your Umrah, if there's anything that is that you can do on your nails or on your hair, do it before you apply the ihram, before you make the intention. Okay? So clipping nails or cutting hair, applying fragrance, and having the sexual interaction with the spouse. Those are not permissible. Clear? Yes, sister.
Sometimes the women use the soap bath in the morning and it has fragrance. Those are not permitted too.
Yeah, anything that has fragrance that would stay on your skin is not permitted. Yeah. If it is just a little thing that you can smell it on the soap, but when you use it, it doesn't stick to your hand, that's fine. Because I don't believe any soap except that it has some little fragrance in it. But you want to avoid anything that sticks to your skin. Okay? Okay, so now I did my 2 rak'ah in the masjid, sunnah of the masjid. I'm out, I'm ready for it. So I said, labbaik Allahumma Umrah, with my intention in the heart. And now we are going to the bus to go to Mecca. At that time, actually, the sunnah is to repeatedly say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. You will get all that, inshallah. Don't worry. So you will have it in writing in both Arabic and English. So this is the statement that you will be saying all the time. Just a very quick note on that. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Allah, here I am in your service. That's what you are telling, what you're saying. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, and you repeat that. لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك, that I'm doing that for you alone, no partner with you, O Allah. إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك, that verily all thanks and all praises are due to you, subhanak, and all the bounties are from you, and the kingdom of everything that exists belong to you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner and the king. La sharika lak, that there's no partner to you. And I want to just take the moment to say that you will repeatedly say this, and you will repeatedly understand that you are doing it only fi sabilillah. That it is not the time for you to take photos and show off, or to make yourself, I mean, unfortunately, many people, it's part of their celebrity being, that they need to show that they are making dua to others. So the way they do it, so they go, for example, in the Mecca, and they do this, okay, this is Mecca, this is the Kaaba, let's say this is the Kaaba, and I'm sorry, astaghfirullah. So they do like this, and that, so that people will see them, because it's live, they will see them, and they will see the Kaaba behind them, and they will say, I will make dua for you, so say Ameen with me. This is all not from the Sunnah. When you are there, the Sunnah is to make dua for others in their absence without them knowing. That's the Sunnah. We do what we call it الدعاء لأخيه في ظهر الغيب, that you do for your brothers and sisters when they are not there, when they don't know you're doing it. Some people, unfortunately, I mean, this is more the Western way of doing things, or maybe not Western, this is now becoming global. It's like, I want to tell people that I'm praying now to Allah for them. Are you watching? Okay, let's start. Allahumma, forgive my sin and their sin. Say Ameen, say Ameen. Ameen. And so that's how, unfortunately, many, I mean, I have seen it a lot, and I'm trying to warn myself and everyone from doing so, because you may, la samahallah, unknowingly lose your reward. Because when you meant this to be fi sabilillah, and unfortunately, when you get people saying, Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah, thank you, then part of your sincerity goes away. Because now you want to please them even more and more and more. It's just like, subhanAllah, when some imams lead the prayer in Taraweeh and Witr, they you know when we do dua in Witr, I mean, it happens all the time, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us. And then the imam starts making dua, and then people get emotional, and then people will start to cry and weep and all that. So the imam gets even more encouraged to increase that. And then the dua becomes so long, and the imam will pick the words that will make them even more emotional. Sometimes it happens without them realizing, and that's fine, inshallah. But if someone has doing that intentionally, that they want to energize the crowd behind them, so that they will cry more by choosing specific words, by creating a tone, Allahumma, like this, then that becomes, not permissible, and that will will make them lose the reward. Okay, so be careful about how you use your phone, how you use your camera, how you use your recording. It is permissible, it is fine, there's no harm of using it, but please be careful on the purpose of using it, so that it will not, inshallah, impact your intention. Okay, so yes, sister. But okay, I think what I'm hearing from you is that you are showing, you are live with the person you're talking to, and you're showing them the Kaaba, and you're asking them, okay, go ahead and pray because now you see the Kaaba. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But that's the same like someone says, okay, I will convey your salam to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not require us to see the Kaaba when we do our dua. And what is the difference between that and between you watching the Kaaba live on the TV? I mean, even with that, the dua, the sunnah of the dua is that you make it very sincerely between you and Allah when no one is actually watching you. That's why, by the way, you know that the sunnah is to pray sunnah at home and not to pray it in front of the people. You know that? Because in our religion, we are supposed to do things really between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not to show people that what we are doing. Many of our pious predecessors, they would read Quran, and if someone passes by them, they will close it and they will hide it, so that people will not know that he was reciting. That's the type of sincerity that our pious predecessors have. Now, it's all about making things public, all about how many, how can I make a video that I will have the big number of followers. And you know, for those YouTubers, you will get some money for every watch that you see, right? Especially if you are, mashallah, a celebrity and you pass maybe the thousands of followers, you will get paid for every additional one. Unfortunately, if someone is doing this and making the video very appealing, that definitely will impact their intention as how could I make it more appealing so that more people will watch it, and then, you know, implicitly how much I will get out of this from YouTube. So be careful, yeah. I mean, what I'm saying, Habibi, be careful not to ruin even a single second of your act of worship because that something else came to your mind about people seeing you. Okay, so we're done with that, and I think I want to be. Can someone help me to just move this all the way to the back? Allah is to there. Yeah. Allah is move it there. Khalas, that's good. Okay, and I know this is not the right way, the right thing, but I'm only doing this so that for the sake of teaching, inshallah. So I'm assuming this is the Kaaba. Okay, so we are in the bus right now. Alhamdulillah, we are on our way to the masjid. As we get everything done, and alhamdulillah, we are just about to enter the masjid. When we get into the masjid, the sunnah is just like how we do it in any other masjid. You start with your right, with your right foot. Okay, so you step in the masjid with your right foot. That's the sunnah. What we do in any masjid is Bismillah. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم اغفر لي ذنوبي وافتح لي أبواب رحمتك. Don't you say that? Okay, let's say it again. Bismillah. Okay, but that's the last portion of it. Anyone remembers it? Anyone remembers the whole thing? Yes, go ahead. Allahumma ighfir li dhunubi waftah li abwaab rahmatik. Exactly. So Bismillah. So you go with your right hand, you say Bismillah wa salatu salam ala rasulullah. Allahumma ighfir li dhunubi waftah li abwaab rahmatik. This is the sunnah. If you are not doing this, please start doing it right now. I mean, every time you come to the masjid, here, PGMA, or anywhere else, Bismillah, wa salatu salam ala rasulullah, Allahumma ighfir li dhunubi waftah li abwaab rahmatik. Perhaps Brother Gibran is going to post something there next to the don't use your cell phone. Please, something large that says the dua so that people will know it. Khalas? And make that, don't use your cell larger so that people will. Okay, so you got in there. But the sunnah for the Masjid al-Haram is to add something else, which is, anyone knows? أعوذ بالله العظيم. أعوذ بالله العظيم وسلطانه القديم من الشيطان الرجيم. You have it in the book, but you need to remember it, inshallah. Those two dua are what you want to say when you get in. Inshallah, I will make sure you will have it, inshallah, hopefully either tonight or tomorrow, بإذن الله. So, أعوذ بالله العظيم والسلطان القديم من الشيطان الرجيم. So you get in now, and immediately you should seek going to the Kaaba. If you happen to go there at the time of a prayer, then you pray. But if it is not a time of prayer, the sunnah is to start with your tawaf. What is the sunnah to do when you get into a masjid like this? 2 rak'ah, right? The sunnah when you go to Masjid al-Haram is to do tawaf 7 times, followed by 2 rak'ah. Right? So that is the sunnah. Now, that is the sunnah for anyone, even those who are not doing Umrah. So even if you have your thawb, you're done with your Umrah, and now you're getting into the masjid, the sunnah is to make tawaf 7 times and then do 2 rak'ah. Right? This is the greeting of Masjid al-Haram. But now we're going there for Umrah. And I think the tawaf in itself, mashallah, is now lengthy, and some people cannot really do it multiple times. So make sure that you start with your tawaf, and that tawaf will be the first thing that you do in your Umrah as one of the pillars of the Umrah itself. Now, you're ready to make tawaf. So let's say this is the shape of the Kaaba here. I'll do it this way. So when we start, there's very bad in using tools, but I'm trying my best. So what color is this? Black. So assume this is the black stone, al-hajar al-aswad. And this one is, let's assume al-rukn al-yamani, yes. So I'm just pointing this. So the Kaaba has 4 sides, right? Okay, so when we start, we actually go, no worries. So we go on the side of the black stone, right? We make that on our left. And when we start, if it is not crowded, the sunnah is to go there, touch it, and kiss it. And then say, Bismillah wallahu, and say Bismillah wallahu akbar. If you're not able to go there, and most likely this is the case, wherever you are at, when you are passing by it, and you will have actually some mark that you can tell when you are passing it. They made it clear. So you point to it with your hand, and you say Bismillah wallahu akbar. Now Bismillah wallahu akbar is in the first round, and then next every round you say Allahu akbar. Okay, so Bismillah wallahu akbar the first time. There are some dua to say that are common. Maybe not all the ulama agree on it, but one of the common dua is to say, Allahumma imanan bika, wa tasdiqan bi kitabik, wa wafa'an bi ahdik, wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyyika Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that's after you say Bismillah wallahu akbar, Allahumma imanan bika, wa tasdiqan bi kitabik, wa wafa'an bi ahdik, wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyyika Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then you start your tawaf. But I did something wrong. This should be like this, right? Because now I'm in tawaf. Now, most likely you will do that in a group, but don't worry about losing the group members. Definitely, you cannot do that, the entire tawaf with the group member. Perhaps the maximum you can go with all the time is 1 person. So for example, if you're going with your spouse or the child, just stick to 1 person. If you want to do it in a group, most likely you will hurt yourself and hurt others, especially at the time when you get into a big congestion. Okay. So, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma imanan bika wa tasdiqan bi kitabik wa wafa'an bi ahdik wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyyik Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you start walking, right? So you go, and all what you say is your dua. You can do remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can recite Quran. All of this is fine to do, inshallah. Some people start chatting. Chatting is very disrecommended, very discouraged. It will not nullify your tawaf, but it is very discouraged. Don't chat. During the tawaf, the most important thing is to remember Allah, make the dua, make istighfar, and recite Quran if you like. Okay, so I'm reciting, I'm making dua for my father, for my mother. I'm also doing dua for my family, for myself. And then here on this side, it's called the Rukn al-Yamani. If you are close, you can touch it. If you're not close, as if nothing happened. So you don't really do nothing if you are away from it. As opposed to the black stone, there you raise your hand, you point to it and you say Allahu Akbar. But here you don't say nothing. But if you are close, you just touch it. Okay? So as you are between this and the black stone, there's a sunnah to say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And we're done with the first one, and then we say Allahu Akbar, Allahumma imana bika wa tasdiqan bi kitabik wa wafa'an bi ahdik wa tiba'an li sunnati nabiyyik, and we do the same. Many people get lost during the tawaf. Did I make 3 or 4? Did I make 5 or 6? If something like this happens, you can ask the one next to you who happened to be doing the same. If they know, alhamdulillah. If they don't, then assume the minimum number. So my question is, did I do 6 or 5? If no one can tell me, then I would assume that I have done what? 5, exactly. Khalas? So while you are in your tawaf, you need to, they made iqamah, and you need to pray. You can pray wherever you are. And then you have to resume tawaf from the last round. So say, for example, I'm now doing the 3rd round. I'm doing the 3rd round. And they made the iqamah. And then I have to move somewhere to find a place to pray. And now I'm praying. After I finish my prayer, I want to go back to resume. Then I will go back to the beginning of the black stone. And where did I leave? The 3rd one. So now I resume from that one. So even though I did part of it, I don't count that. I go back to the beginning of the last round that I was making. Clear? Okay. I don't know that you say Bismillah, but let me review it, inshallah. What I know is Bismillah at the beginning of your tawaf, and the entire tawaf, but let me review that, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Okay, so another point which always happens, that you may lose your wudu while you're doing this. If that happens, similarly, you can go refresh your wudu, come back and resume from the last round that you were making. Okay, you cannot count the partial round. You should resume from the beginning of the last round that you were making. Okay, so that's what tawaf is all about. Once you're done, the first thing you do is to cover your shoulder. Now, there's one sunnah in tawaf that perhaps people may not be able to do, but if you are able to do it, please do it. It's called ar-ramal. And al-ramal means that you walk quickly. And by the way, this thing which is called al-tiba is only for men. Similarly, al-ramal is only for men, not for women. The sunnah in al-ramal is that for the first 3 rounds that you walk quickly. So you do like this. Okay, so as opposed to this way. And you walk quickly, but your steps are short. So you don't do jump like people trying a marathon. No, you just walk quickly, but with short steps. Okay, so that's called al-ramal. You do al-ramal only in the first 3 rounds. You do al-tiba' for the entire tawaf, for all the 7 times. Clear? Any questions so far? Okay, so al-tiba' is where you expose your right shoulder. You do it through the entire tawaf. Al-ramal is where you walk quickly, quick but short steps. It's only for the first 3 rounds. Both of them, al-tiba' and ramal, are for men only. So if you are walking with your spouse and it is very big crowd, most likely you cannot do it. Yeah, but you can always try to show the shape that you are doing it, but when you cannot. Yes, go ahead. Which one? Al-tiba'. Yeah, only tawaf. Yes, so the first thing that you do in tawaf is to make sure that you have al-tiba', and the first thing you do after tawaf is to cover it. Yeah. Okay. Now, one thing that I think it's good to know that Wallahu alam, when he sallallahu did it, he did it at the time when Mecca was still under the ruling of the disbelievers or the infidels of Mecca. So he sallallahu when he did this, he came from a long travel from Medina to Mecca, right? Took them days and weeks. So when he reached to Mecca, the infidels of Mecca were like, look at them, how weak they are. So he sallallahu made it, and mashallah, he's strong. He was strong, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So not only that he was showing their muscles, but also he was walking fast. So after a long travel, he still walked fast. This is too big. So, okay. Now you're done with the tawaf. The next is to go and pray 2 rak'ah. Remember, tawaf always 7 times, followed by 2 rak'ah. The 2 rak'ah, the sunnah is to pray it behind what we call it Maqam Ibrahim. You know, this is stand where Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was standing to build the Kaaba. It is actually in glass, and it has a golden top to it. You can always see it. That's actually very close to the where the Imam leads the prayer. Oh yeah, mashallah, I didn't know I would have this. Okay, it's this one here. You see this? This is called Maqam Ibrahim. If you look through the glass here, you would see like a rock that has the footprint of Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam. When I was a child, I was very interested to see if this was big or small, and I found it small. I found it small. Yeah, so this is called Maqam Ibrahim. Now it's good that we have this picture. Subhanallah, I wasn't paying attention. So the black stone is here. This one is here on this side. Okay. Now, do you know what we call this? Hijr Ismail. This is called Hijr Ismail. Do you know what this is? This was exactly part of the Kaaba. By the way, the Kaaba was not cubical in the old days. It was actually cubical from 3 sides, but from this side it was rounded, semicircle. During history, the building was destroyed by flooding, by some other things. And then the last time they rebuilt it, they did not build that piece. So he sallallahu before he passed away, Aisha radiallahu anha said, Ya Rasulullah, didn't you tell us that this was the building of the Kaaba? In fact, you know, you see this gate here? You see this gate? And there's a similar gate here, entrance. So people here are, in this photo, people are not praying inside, but sometimes you see people inside. There's an entrance here and entrance here. And in the time of in the time before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was a lofty building, and there was an entrance from one side and an exit from the other side. So Aisha radiallahu anha said, Ya Rasulullah, don't you like to rebuild the Kaaba as it was in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam? He said, I know that the community, or maybe the people around me are still new into faith. And I don't want to do something that may, la samahullah, provoke a fitna. So he lift the Kaaba in this shape, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And by the way, after he passed away, some of the khulafa tried to rebuild it, and then the next khalifa destroyed it. And so the last one, I think it was Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, who said, let's just keep it as the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam kept it. But in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, this was a building. You see the point? Okay, so what that means is that when we go around the Kaaba, this is part of the Kaaba. You cannot take a shortcut here, even if this was allowed. Okay, so this whole thing is part of the Kaaba. Anything else I missed on this? Or any question? Yeah.
You mentioned that after 7 tawaf, when you pray 2 rak'ah, especially in of the Maqam Ibrahim, that people are still walking when you perform there.
The people are what?
Other people are still doing the walk.
Yeah.
I finished and I want to pray where?
Yeah.
Is there enough space that you can pray?
Yeah, actually, when you do your prayer, you do it on this side. So this is Maqam Ibrahim, right? You do it on this side, if you can. If they don't allow you, or there's no space, you can do it anywhere. The sunnah, okay, mashallah. Okay. Huh? Okay. So there's a question about putting niqab. Let me just finish this tawaf, and then I will talk about the niqab. Yeah, the 2 rak'ah that you do after this is to complete your tawaf. If you happen to miss the 2 rak'ah, it's fine, because the 2 rak'ah is sunnah, is not a pillar of your umrah. The tawaf is a pillar of your umrah, but the 2 rak'ah is a sunnah. So if you are able to do it, then please do it. This is how he sallallahu did. So you do the 2 rak'ah prayer. In that 2 rak'ah, you can recite قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ and قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Once you're done with the 2 rak'ah, you can, the sunnah is to drink zamzam, drink from zamzam. There's a sunnah there. Anyone knows the name of it? Like how to drink the water of zamzam? It's very similar to al-tiba', but it's called il-tila'. So il-tila' means that you keep drinking until the water goes to your bones. You feel like the whole body became water of zamzam. So that was the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the problem here is that it will be very difficult for you to maintain your wudu afterwards. So it depends. If you are able to manage things and you will come to the umrah with empty stomach, yeah, the sunnah is to really keep drinking until you are full. So you do the tawaf, you do the 2 rak'ah, and then you drink from the water of zamzam as much as you can. Okay? طيب. By the way, if you ask, what is the sunnah? To drink the water of zamzam that is cold, or the room temperature? The sunnah is to drink the room temperature, not the cold one. It is fine if you do the cold one, but the sunnah is to do it in the room temperature. And you know why? Because that is the water that came directly from zamzam and did not get through some process. Now, if you like to drink cold water because you are thirsty and whatnot, no problem. It's fine, it's totally fine. But I'm saying if you are just asking for the option or the preference, then it is the normal one. Okay? So now with that, we're done with the tawaf. I still need to tell you about the sa'i. But let me answer some questions, inshallah. So there was a question about niqab. So niqab in Sharia, or covering the woman's face, is a matter of difference of opinion between fuqaha. Is it mandatory, or is it just recommended, or is it just fine? And the vast majority of our ulama have the middle point, which is it is very recommended, but it is not mandatory. That's the vast majority. In fact, it is the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Malik, and it is one of the opinions of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, is that the face is not awra, but it is highly recommended that women will cover their face. One narration within the Hanbali madhab says that it is awra and it is mandatory to cover that face, right? Now, I mean, we are open for both of them. If the lady chooses to put the niqab because she thinks this is better, she can uncover during the tawaf. If she puts that because it is mandatory in the opinion that she follows, then she keeps that niqab every time that there are men around her. Aisha radiallahu anha used to say that when I was during Hajj, I would uncover my face unless there are men around me. When there are men around me, I will put some cover. But here's the problem. One of the things that we cannot do during Umrah is to get the face cover close to the face, like attached to the face. So for those who put niqab, they can still cover their face, but not with the normal niqab that they would do otherwise. What they can do, and that's what Aisha radiallahu anha said. She said that تسدل إحدانا خمارها على وجهها. That when you have the khimar, okay, people keep telling me don't do this, but okay, I'll just so the khimar, they can do something like this, but not like this. You see the difference? You see the difference? So in other words, a woman can cover her face with something loose like this. But if she does something like this, then that actually nullifies the Umrah. Huh? Of course it does. However, if the mask is required because of some health condition, then that's fine. Because it becomes darura, it becomes necessity. And that actually applies to both men and women. For men, if you're healthy and you have no health issues, you cannot put a mask. You cannot. You cannot cover your head, by the way. You cannot put this kufi during your Umrah. But for women, they can of course they would cover their head. But for the face, if they want to cover their face, and that's one valid opinion in the fiqh, they would do it loosely, like this, but not like the niqab, which goes like this. Did I make it clear? Okay. So my suggestion is that we should never blame each other of what we are doing. Alhamdulillah, both of them have a strong opinion in fiqh. But at the same time, try to give yourself or try to follow the sunnah of within each opinion, which is for those who say that the face has to be covered of the woman, and they say it is awra. They also say that during ihram, she cannot just stick it to the face, so which is what we call it niqab. They would continue to cover the face, but not sticking to the face. On the contrary, those who say that putting the niqab or covering the face is not mandatory, and it's better that when you do your Umrah, you uncover the face. They still say that if there's a fitna, if the lady is causing fitna in a way that there are some men who are just chasing, just trying to stare at her face, then she should cover. You see the point? So that in both ways we need to follow the right sunnah. Otherwise we will be just taking an extreme, and it's not the right thing. So all the ulama have said that if the woman is causing a fitna, and the men started to just stare at her and be sexually impacted, then the woman, for them what they are doing is haram, but for the woman she is supposed to cover so that she stops that. Okay. So let me just finish with the sa'i, which is the last part, and we will be done, inshallah. I'm sorry, say it again. No, except for what I just mentioned, between the rukun and the black stone, you say رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And when you start, you say اللهم إيمانا بك وتصديقا بكتابك ووفاء بعهدك واتباعا لسنة نبيك. Otherwise, it's any dua, any dhikr, any reciting of Quran, but don't chat. Okay? Yes. Adding jewelry is fine, but don't expose them, sister. Meaning, if they are in your hand covered, you're fine, inshallah. Some sisters may have like a gold ring or something on the hand, and they don't cover their hand. You're not supposed to do that. Anything that adds beauty to the natural hand and natural face is not permitted by all scholars. So, for example, makeup is not permitted. The nail color, what do we call them? So henna, sister, henna, there are two types of henna. There's henna that is used for medical reason, that's fine. But the henna that is used to decorate the hand, it's not permissible. I'm sorry? On the nails? Yeah. So any polish, any color polish on the nails is not permissible in front of foreign men. You should avoid that, sister, in front of foreign men. I know here in America things are different. I mean, people would love to show their wedding ring so that people know that this person is married. When you think about it from an Islamic perspective, it's very different. Because, I mean, wedding ring, by the way, is very beautiful, isn't it? And some people always like to look at that, stare at that, and see how much it's worth, try to give an estimate of how wealthy this husband was when he made this as a gift. All that stuff is not Islamic. Yeah. So the woman, the difference between scholars is about whether the woman can expose her hands all the way to here, and her face is from here to here, not including the neck, not including the ear. That was the difference. But adding something on top of the hand or the face, like makeup or colors or whatnot, there's not a single scholar who said it is permissible. The difference of opinion is just about exposing the natural hand and the natural face for the women. Few ulama, it's one opinion within the Hanbali madhab, they say, no, everything is awra and you have to cover all of them. But the vast majority of ulama, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and one opinion, Hanbali, they say, no, it is fine. The woman can expose her hand and can expose her face as long as she is not causing fitna to others. Did I make it clear? Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so the last thing is when we go for a sa'i between the two mountains, Safa and Marwa. So we're done with tawaf, we're done with 2 rak'ah, we're done with the drinking zamzam. We don't have to go to the bathroom. But even if we do, the sa'i does not require wudu. Tawaf requires wudu. The 2 rak'ah requires wudu. But after that, wudu is not mandatory for doing the sa'i. So if someone loses their wudu, it's fine that they complete the remaining part of the umrah. So let's assume, okay, now we're gonna, so forget this was a Kaaba. Now, now this is the mountain of As-Safa, and this is the mountain of Marwa. And Safa is the greater mountain, the bigger mountain than Marwa. So you're walking now away from the Kaaba. You're trying to get up, and I mean in my days the mountain of As-Safa was a real mountain, and we used to get up and collect some stones and hide it and astaghfirullah al-azim. I mean many people used to do this. Now it's no more the case, because what they have is actually they have put a pathway which is in white marble, and then only the tip of the mountain shows, but even that tip you cannot reach it. And even if you can reach it, they have added some material so that people cannot take away from the stones there. Okay, so you're getting up, and as you get up, I mean, one of the recommended dua is to recite the ayah إن الصفا والمروة من شعائر الله فمن حج البيت أو اعتمر فلا جناح عليه أن يطوف بهما ومن تطوع خيرا فإن الله شاكر عليم. Some ulama says this is not profound, meaning they say that it's not authentic. That's the word. Not authentic to say this. This is an ayah in Quran. When some other ulama said you do it, but regardless, I mean I follow it. I follow that. But when you get up in the mountain of, so this is the mountain of Safa, and this is the mountain of Umrah. So I'm going this way, and then when you get up, you will stand, make the mountain on your back and the Kaaba on your front. So let's say that the Kaaba is now here. So this is the mountain, I climbed there, and then now I face the Kaaba and I make my dua. And that's where you say, La ilaha illallah wahdahu, anjaza wa'dahu, wa nasara abdahu, wa hazama al-ahzaba wahdahu. And then you say your dua. And then you repeat that again. And you say, so you stand here facing the Kaaba, the mountain is on your back. لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وعده. And then you say your dua. And then you say it again. لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وحده. And you say your dua. And then you do it for the 3rd time. And then once you're done with that, then you start walking to the Marwa, to the other mountain, to the other side. As you walk there, there's an area where it starts with a green light and then ends with another green light. That area is actually, in the past, was the area that was exposed between the 2 mountains. The mushrikeen, the disbelievers of Mecca, were actually watching Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions from a distance between the 2 mountains. And the only place where they can spot them or see them as they were walking between the mountains was this area, which starts with a green light and finish with the green light. He ﷺ would continue to show the disbelievers how strong they were, and that even though they were going through a long travel, even though they were doing the tawaf, and now even in sa'i, he used to do the ar-ramal, which is he would walk quickly with short steps but very quick. Okay, so that is only for men. Women will not do that. When you walk in sa'i, it's much easier. It's less crowded, less congested. So most likely within sa'i you can go in a group, and you should be fine, inshallah. If you do it in a group, and you have your spouse with you, for example, or your sister or mother, then by the time you finish your ramel, which is, you pass the second green light, then you can slow down so that they will catch you, and then you continue your journey. Similarly, when you approach Al-Marwa, I mean, you get up and you make your dua, لا إله إلا الله وحده أنجز وعده ونصر عبده وهزم الأحزاب وحده, and you do your dua, you do it 3 times. And then you get down and you walk to the Safa. How many times do you go between Safa and Marwa? 7 times. So 7 times means that you count every travel. So travel from Safa to Marwa counts as 1. Back to a Safa, 2nd, and so on. So by doing so, you start with a Safa, and when you finish the 7th time, you are where? At Al-Marwa. Once you're done with that, you finish with your Umrah, and now it is the time to do what we call it Tahallul. Tahallul is the last thing they do to get out of the state of Umrah, state of Ihram. And the way you do that is to cut from your hair. For the men, the sunnah is to shave, but they can also just shorten their hair, have a haircut. For the women, the sunnah is to combine their hair, and whatever they combine, they take, what do we call this piece? Now, what do we call this piece in English? So in my finger, I have 3 of these. What do we call each one? Tip? And this one is called tip? Okay, anyways, we call it in Arabic unmula. This size, this part here is called unmula. And you see, I think it's less than an inch. And that's what you need to cut as a woman is maximum this size, but you can go less. However, the sunnah is that you need to cut it from all the hair, because some people think that if they can get 2 or 3 hairs then and cut it, that this will be sufficient. That's not true. The haircut for both men and women has to impact the entire hair. But for women, it's only this size or even less. This maximum this size or even less. Is that clear, sisters? No? What if you have short hair? Okay, and that's exactly what we should always remember, that in anything in Sharia, we do whatever we can. So some people may have short hair, then do a little bit. Like whatever you can do to just make sure that you have cut some hair. But some people do not have hair. I mean, maybe in a few years I will even lose this on the side, because and if that happens, khalas. I mean, if there's any one piece of hair there, you can just cut it. Otherwise, khalas. I mean, you don't have hair. We had an incident last Umrah. One of the brothers, Jazallah khair, mashallah, was very, very active, and he did his Umrah for the first time. So he went to the Umrah. He did the Umrah with us. He heard that shaving is better than hair cutting, so he shaved his hair completely. Now, the next day, he said to me, I want to make Umrah on behalf of my relative. And I said, yeah, sure, you can. So I told him what to do, except that I forgot to tell him about the haircut. So he went to a place called Masjid Aisha, which is a mosque within Mecca, where if you plan to start your Umrah from Mecca, you have to go to it, make your intention, and then go to the Kaaba. So he did everything, and then he came back with some blood here and there. I said, what happened? He said, I had to do shaving again. I said, where did you get that from? He said, I asked someone and he told me to do it. The sad news is that he had to pay for the full fee. So and it seems that the people who were cutting his hair, they're shaving him, I don't know. They were just merchant. They didn't tell him he doesn't need to do that. Allahu alam. Anyways, so it is fine if there's no hair. Khalas, there's no hair. I mean, some ulama said that you can just apply something to just show that as if you are doing it, but you don't need to hurt yourself. If you cannot, you cannot. Okay, so you're done. Let me just finish and khalas. So we're done with that cutting or shaving for the men, and khalas. You're back to your state, your normal state. Your umrah is done. It is good now that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your deed, and you're good to go anywhere you like, inshallah. So with that, I'm done with the umrah. I'm done with the ziyarah of Medina, inshallah. Let me just answer your questions. Go ahead. So whether it is for men or for women, they need to be careful on where do they cut their hair. As I said, it is not enough to just take a little bit from here and cut it and say that you did your umrah, you did your ihlal. What we are taught is to cut it from all over. So they will have to take their hair, combine them together, and cut a little bit from it. That's for the women. So that cannot happen in front of men, of course. So the best thing is to do it at the hotel for the women. And for the men, is they can do it either at the barber shop or in their hotel. طيب? Yes, akhi. Can you cut the hair of your wife? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But at the hotel. Yeah. So the question is, if the wife can cut for her spouse and vice versa, yes, both are fine, inshallah. Yes. When you are in the Umrah, in the entire state of Umrah, you should not cover your head. You cannot cover your head with something touching your head, but you can always use umbrella. You see the point? So what is not permissible during Umrah is to cover your head with something touching it, like this. That's not permissible for men. Or touching your face closely, like this, and that is for men and women. So for women, they have to cover their head, so that's fine. They still, and for those who want to cover their face, they have to make it loose. So they can do something like this, but not this way. You cannot put a hat. You cannot put a hat. You can use umbrella if there's a strong sun. You can use umbrella, but not a hat, not something touching your head. Sisters, any question?
Is it permissible to wear socks?
No, socks are not permissible because socks take the shape of your foot. What is the ruling on wiping leather socks? Is that during Umrah or? No, you cannot even wear the leather socks in the first place. Oh, I'm sorry. So the sisters is always fine to dress something that takes the shape. She can dress anything that covers her. So no worries about the socks. When I hear the word leather socks, what comes to my mind are those brothers who come and ask me, can we wipe on them? So for men, you cannot wear socks. But for women, yes, you can. What is the ruling on wiping on leather socks? You can always do that, inshallah. Yeah. طيب. What is the purpose of the Kaaba? What is the purpose of Kaaba? The Kaaba was built by Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam along with his son Ismail. And it was the first place to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that place. It was a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Ibrahim, who is the father of all the prophets, and except for the one who came before him. And he actually traveled from Palestine to Mecca to build this place. And he made the dua, oh Allah, bring people to that place after me, because at the time when he built it, there was no one here, no inhabitants here. So people started to come from Yemen and from other places, and they started to build their houses, and now, mashallah, it became the place where it is. What is the purpose? It was the answer to Allah's command to Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam to establish this place for worship. Okay, so do you have to perform Umrah barefoot? So I think this came from the woman. So for men, you cannot wear a shoe, and you have to. If you have to wear something, it could be the slippers, but not a shoe, not something that takes a shape of your feet. For the sisters, you can always wear your shoe, but they will not allow you to use it in the Kaaba, in the Haram. They would ask you to take it off. I know that from a medical perspective, some people need it, and if this is the case, you can always tell them. And to the best of my understanding, they would allow it. Huh? Same. Now remember, I did talk about if a woman happened to have her period during the time when we are in Mecca, the woman cannot do tawaf while in her period, and if she wants to go to the masjid and stay there, she can go to the place. Remember, there's this. As if those are the two mountains, right? And the Kaaba is in this side. Anything that is behind this is fine for the woman to stay at. Although in today's time, you see the marble, it's a part of where people pray, but in that place you can always sit there, even if the woman is in her period. By the way, I did forget one thing to say. At the time when we do our niyyah, in the miqat, it is permissible for people to make a condition. So you say labbaik Allahumma umrah, right? And your intention, you are starting your umrah. If you do anything that nullifies the umrah, like for example, cutting nail, cutting hair, before you finish it, then you know what happens? You need to slaughter. If a woman started the intention when she is fine, and then down the road as she was going there, she started her period, and now she has to leave Mecca before the period finishes, what happens? She has to slaughter. However, she or he can always make a condition in their intention. So what they say is, labbaik Allahumma umrah. فَإِنْ حَبَسَنِي حَابِسٌ فَمَحِلِّي حَيْثُ حَبَسْتَنِي. This is a sunnah. Rasulullah sallallahu allowed this to happen in his time. And what that means is that, oh Allah, I'm making the intention for Umrah, but if something happens that would prevent me from continuing the Umrah, then that is my end of the Umrah. And if you do so, then even if anything happens, like someone becomes sick, someone becomes unable to move, an accident happens, a woman starts her period, any of that sort, if that happens, then you just, you have nothing to worry about. You get the reward of the Umrah for your intention, and there's nothing, even though you are not able to continue and finish your Umrah. Okay, so inshallah we will have that in the material that I will send you, but that's something that it's a statement. Inshallah we will remind you about it at the time when we are in the Abiyar Ali on what to say, inshallah. Okay, so what time are the sisters going to Rawda in Masjid al-Nabawi, Masjid al-Haram, for Umrah? Is Nadeem here? Do you know? What time? So Rawda, sister, you need to do it on your own through the Nusuk application. Everyone will do it on their own. But for the Umrah, when is the time? When are we reaching Mecca, Habibi? Which day? So Sunday 21st is when we arrive Mecca, inshallah, and it is going to be about 5 to 6 p.m. Okay. So at that point in time, my recommendation for everyone, don't start your Umrah at that time. This is one of the most crowded time. The best way is to get ready for the Umrah, go there. By the way, when you have this, they allow you to get inside the Haram, and you can do your prayers, to do Salat al-Isha, and then you can start Tawaf. If you happen to see that the place is not congested, you can always start, but it is more wise to wait after Salat al-Isha so that most of the people will get out of the masjid, and now you are no more in the congested time. Am I good? No? Yes? Still manageable? Okay. So anyways, I mean, yeah. So Brother Nadeem is saying that some people prefer to do it earlier. I mean, you do it the way you like. However, if you want to stick, for example, for the group or something, my suggestion is to do it right after Salat al-Isha. But we can manage these things, inshallah, when we are there. We can see how it is, and we can, inshallah, do the right decision there. Please comment on the following: state of ihram for men, wearing a watch or a ring. So wearing a watch for men and for women is fine. A ring for men. I don't know about that. Do men wear rings? Really? Ring like the finger. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. For men, it's fine. Okay, but the braces. No, watch is fine. Watch is fine, and a finger ring is fine, because that is not really taking a shape of a finger or of a hand. It's just a circle there, just like how I make a circle here around me. But the problem is if you have a bracelet for the men, that's where I see it might be problematic. I don't know why men would wear it in the first place. Covering head due to sun, yes, we did say you can do umbrella or anything that is not touching the head. Cover shoes or socks. Shoes and socks for men are not permissible. On the day of July 16, this is the day of Arafah. Arafah? Arafah? How is that possible? Ashura, okay, Ashura it makes sense. I just heard about one, they were praising him. So they said, MashaAllah, this man, Allahu Akbar, he prays night every single day. He does the night prayer. He fasts 3 days a month. He fasts the Monday and Thursday. He does recite Quran, mashallah, every single week. And then they stopped, and then this man was very impressed, and he was happy, and he was like, and I do Hajj twice a year. He does Hajj twice a year, although Hajj only happens once a year. How could he do this? So yeah, it's just like, subhanAllah, my dad told me about this. He said in the village where he grew up, there was a young man who, mashallah, memorized a good portion of Quran, and they asked him to lead prayer. So on one day, he was leading the prayer, and people came late, and they were like, mashallah, look at him. Ya akhi, mashallah, the way he recites, the way he does things. So he could not control himself. He was under fame. So he looked to the back while in the prayer, and he said, and today I'm fasting as well. so he could not stop it, subhanAllah. Some people just like to be praised. Anyway, are we allowed, okay, so can you explain for those that decide to fast that day and are traveling? So we will be traveling, what time, 12? For those who are going in the first batch, I think that we are leaving at 12 p.m.? 12:30 p.m. My recommendation is to follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is that if the travel is easy and it's not going to hurt you, is not going to impact you, then continue with your fasting. If it is going to be difficult, then it is better to break your fast. And if it is going to be harmful, then you must break your fast. This is what we see in Sahih Muslim. He ﷺ sometimes would break his fast during travel, and some other times he would continue fasting during his travel. So the borderline is whether how easy is it for you to continue with your fasting, inshallah. Are we allowed to ask family and friends to send dua before the trip so that during Umrah you will make those same dua? Yeah, I mean, if someone asks you for dua, it's always great, it's always fine, but make sure that you avoid using the phone and just like how we described it before here. Do we have to get transportation from the airport, or will there be some waiting for us? So for those who are going, who are traveling with us in the same group, inshallah, there will be shuttles, right? Yeah, from the airport to the hotel. There will be transportation provided, yes. Do you have to remove piercings when performing Umrah? Nose and ear jewelry. Do we need to wash your hair before performing Umrah? So as far as piercing, if it is covered under the hijab, you should be fine. If it is not covered, then it is not recommended. It's actually neither during Umrah nor without Umrah. Again, showing the face, exposing the face, is a matter that majority of ulama said it is permissible. The problem is when someone takes another step to beautify her face by adding colors, adding jewelry to the face. That's when we should avoid it. I know sometimes women have the very tiny thing that may not be even visible on the nose. I think those are among the things that ulama, they just, keep quiet about it because it's not visible, it's very tiny. But if someone is showing, if a woman is exposing something on her face that is visible and that may make people attracted to see her or stare at her, then that's something she should avoid. Okay. Do you need to wash your hair before performing Umrah? So I don't know why this question happens, but showering the whole body, including your hair, is the sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How to cut hair if it is braids and the hair is short? I mean, it could be just a few centimeters. Again, whatever you can take, inshallah. I probably may not be able to imagine what it looks like, but as long as you take from the vast majority of places in your hair, even if it were just a few centimeters, like very tiny thing, it should be fine, inshallah. How does someone lose wudu? So losing wudu could be through anything that, like passing gas, going to the bathroom, with urinating, or anything that goes out from the private area is going to nullify wudu. But also, some other things may nullify wudu. If, for example, if a man touches a woman, even his wife, with some sexual feeling, then that nullifies wudu as well. There are other things that may nullify wudu, especially according to some ulama, like for example, eating the meat of camel, just touching women. In the Shafi'i madhab, if someone touches his wife like this, even like this, they say it nullifies wudu. But the vast majority of ulama said no. It's only if there's some sexual feeling and purpose and intention of touching, that's when it nullifies wudu. Okay. Sure? Yeah, sleeping also nullifies someone wudu. If someone sleeps, it nullifies wudu, okay? Because when someone sleeps, actually, you don't know if you do anything that nullifies your wudu anyway. Like for example, if someone passes gas or something like that, are you considered a traveler and need to shorten all prayers? Okay, that's a good one. How long are we staying in Medina? 4 days. 4 days or 4 nights? 4 nights. 4 nights. Actually, it's more than 4 days. So in Medina, you cannot. The Sunnah, okay, let me just put it this way. There's difference of opinion between scholars about what is the minimum and maximum time that you that enable you to shorten your salah. And the opinion that I follow, which is an opinion that you find in some schools of thought, including the Hanbali madhab, is that if you stay in a place more than 21 consecutive prayers, then you cannot consider yourself a traveler in that place. So how many prayers do you have in a day? 5. So 21 means 4 days and 1 prayer. So if you plan to stay in a place for more than 21 consecutive prayer, then you cannot consider your stay in that place as a travel. Some ulama have difference of opinion, so let me not get into that, but that's wallahu alam, at least the fatwa that has a very authentic hadith about it, and it's the fatwa that many scholars have been adopting these days. Sheikh Ibn Baz used to say that as well. So when we stay in Medina, we should not be shortening our salah. However, between the time we go from here all the way to Medina, of course, we join the prayers and we do shorten our prayer. Once we reach to Medina, then we have to pray on time and it has to be full prayer. Now, when we go to Mecca, how long are we staying in Mecca? 3 nights? 3 nights and 3 nights. So I think this is less than 21 consecutive prayer, then we should be fine. However, why would you shorten your prayer? Why would you? I mean, you did all this trouble to pray in Mecca and to pray with the Imam. So you don't need to do that, inshallah. So if we fast while traveling on the plane, when do we break the fast? That's a good one, mashallah. I love this type of question. So you need to make it in a way that applies to you in the plane. The way I do it is that I look through the window and see if the sun has already set or not. So you don't need to worry about anything else, like where in the map you are and all that stuff. Don't worry about it. All what you need to worry about is while you are in the plane and you look at the sun or the light through the window, it can tell you whether this is Maghrib time or it is a Fajr time and so on, and you can do your prayers accordingly. And you do also your break fast accordingly. I hope this was clear, inshallah. Okay. طيب. لا. Okay. Tahajjud? To pray in the night? We are all encouraged to do this, men and women. If I were you, the way I would do it is that I would spend most of my time in the haram, whether it is in Mecca or Medina, And perhaps the time that you may like to sleep, and I'm sorry to say this, it's going to be probably after you come back from Salat al-Fajr, and you probably want to take your breakfast, take some short sleep until prior to Salat al-Dhuhr. That is the best time for you to sleep. Because in that time, if you decide to go to the haram, it will be hot, and it may drain your power. So my recommendation is to leverage the nights and leverage the time between Dhuhr and Isha, inshallah. Okay, anything else? Yes. Yeah, the congestion issue in the haram, especially in Mecca, is out of our hand. I don't think anyone can avoid it in any way. So you try your best, and if anything happens, if any accidental touch happened with a foreign man, it's not in your hand, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us. You don't need to worry about that. Are you Shafi'i? Huh? Are you Shafi'i? Is that why you are asking?
I remember the last time what I did actually was to take my laptop and put it in a backpack to keep some distance.
Okay. Oh, that's a good idea, mashallah. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But even with that, sister, I mean, sometimes you just cannot manage it. And the reason I'm asking you, are you Shafi'i or not? Because in the Shafi'i madhab, even a touch like this will nullify someone's wudu. And I think in this case, it becomes extremely hard. Yeah. Okay. So should we stop here, inshallah? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. جزاكم الله خير.
السلام عليكم ورحمة